heading. And here we are writing heading and the font size some 50 pixels, just large display. Now suppose text align also center. Okay. Now the shadow we want to apply. So 80 pixel. Okay. Then you can use text shadow. Text shadow. Text shadow requires three properties and one color. So this first one is horizontal, second one vertical, third one blur, and fourth one color. We have to tell three values and one color. What are those three values? Horizontal value, vertical value, and blur value. So suppose see, you have to mention horizontal 10 pixels, vertically 0, and blur is 0. Color is red. Actually, that is the shading. You don't need commas. Continuous values you have to define. Okay. Now, usually that is horizontal. See, horizontal, right side, the shadow will move. We can put some black. The shadow will be right side. So let's say gray. The shadow will be right side. You can reduce that. Suppose 4 pixel. It will be just a slight. Similarly, vertical also. Vertical means second value. So 4 pixel. That's vertical. So if you want to keep it more down, 14 pixel, it will keep more down. So I given 10 pixel. Okay. Now I want to reduce the thickness of shadow, blur. Then we can give blur value. Blur value should be 0 to 1. So 0.6. That is the blur value. You can give number also, just initially. You can give pixels, but fractional pixels will be very sharp. You can give pixels. So 2 pixel. 2 pixel, not 0 to 1. It can be defined in pixels. You can see now blurriness will increase. So I want 12 pixel and it will be more blur. More blur. Welcome, more blur. And you can say, suppose 10 pixel. It will be less. So you can change the blur levels. You can see the blurriness will be adjusted. That have a color. You can give the color RGB or any. So red, and that color will be applied for the text. This you can give for text shadow. For divs, spans, paragraphs, block quotes, everywhere, tables and all, we can use box shadow. Box shadow also same. But it is given for others. Suppose I said body. So box shadow. So box shadow, same. Some 8 pixels. So 3 pixels. And some 4 pixels. and gray. And you can see that it is going to apply that for the border. So that the body width, I'll give as suppose 50%. 50% width will be like this. This is box shadow. Box shadow also, we can say vertically 10 pixels. It will get vertically 10 pixels down. Blurriness, you can adjust here, 8 pixels. And the blurriness will increase for the colors. You have to use a combination and define according to the combination. We can keep shadow for text. We can keep shadow for the paragraphs or block quotes or body or divs. Any container you can apply. I given for body, you can apply for div. So that is background shadows. So you have two options. Shadow can be applied by using text effects or background effects. So we can apply it to box effects. We have text shadow and box shadow. So the shadow colors, your wish. You can apply the shadow color with RGB or hash, that is hexadecimal. That will improve the presentation style. So we need to understand first these options. So that is how to apply the shadow and colors and all. So one more option initially, regularly used options you need to know. CSS units are very important. Units, so the question is why you are rating 100 pixels. So what is centimeter? You can write 100 centimeters. You can write 100 meters. You can write 100 inches. You can write 100. So like picas. Picas, that means PA. You can use percentage also. So the point is, what is difference? Inches, centimeters, meters. So how you can apply that? A millimeter also, like that. So these are general CSS units, but they are categorized into two. Like we have absolute length units, absolute units, and relative units. Two are there. So you have to apply absolute relative. Absolute units means absolute units will apply independently to any element. Relative units are applied. Relative units applied according to the relative content. That means if parent height is 10 pixel, then child will be 8 pixel, like that. Relative means parent-child relations. Depending on that, they can change. So we have absolute units and relative units, and you can configure and work with them. So absolute units, you have centimeters, millimeters, quarter meter, inches, picas, points, pixels. PT for point and pixels. Difference is nothing but, so if you want to adjust more size, then you can give in inches. Because 1 pixel is just one dot. If I give 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter is 96 pixels, 96 pixels divided by 2.54. That is its unit. That means 96 by 2.54. That means 1 centimeter. If I give 1 millimeter, 1 millimeter is nothing but 1 by 10th of 1 centimeter. That means very small size. So these units I will upload in the notes. You can see. That means if you want to apply, because suppose if I give 1 inch, 1 inch means it will be 96 pixels. 1 inch means 96 pixels. If I want less size, I can use centimeters, millimeters. Which one is the best one? It depends on situation actually. Best one is always pixels. But sometimes you design some content to print on paper. So then inches are very important. Centimeters are important. Because when you are designing for screen, that's okay. But when you are designing for print, then its units should be better. Pixels also okay. But units in centimeters, inches is better when printing. So that we can easily understand according to the length of the content provided to us, so that we can print on the papers and see. So we have absolute units and relative units. Relative units we have like EM, EX, CH, REM. These are relative units. You have LN, that is line height. So we have like viewports, width, viewport height. So viewport minimum width, maximum height, like that. But these you will able to see with the parent-child hierarchy. That we will see in the next level, how to define the parent-child hierarchy. We will see in the next level. So the parent-child hierarchies we will configure. So tomorrow we will discuss about that, okay? So in tomorrow's session, we will discuss about the units and we will handle them. Tomorrow we'll continue with that. And